All right, let's get right into it. When you hear the name Vincent van Gogh, what comes to mind? Probably a brilliant, maybe tortured artist, right? But what if that's not the whole story? What if his life wasn't some grand journey to become an artist, but actually a tragic search for a normal life he could just never seem to grasp? This is the story of a man who wanted nothing more than to fit in, but was pushed, time and time again, towards a canvas he never really asked for.
You know, Van Gogh wrote this himself, and it just perfectly sums up his entire life, doesn't it? He could see that comfortable, paved road of a normal life. He wanted to walk on it, but for him, it was always blocked. The flowers, all his incredible, breathtaking art, they grew on the difficult, rocky path he was forced onto instead.
And this right here, this is the key to understanding his story. Think about it. So many artists use their work to escape from reality. But Vincent, he was different. Art wasn't his passion project. It was his last resort. It was the only door left open after a lifetime of having every other one slammed shut in his face. From his earliest days, it seems Vincent was carrying this deep, profound sadness with him. He wasn't trying to be some eccentric artist, not at all. He was trying to be a son, a partner, a worker, just a regular guy with a simple place in the world. But right from the beginning, that seemed like an impossible goal. His life basically started under pressure. His father was this really stern figure, and Vincent just felt like he could never live up to his expectations. Then he's sent away to boarding school when he's only 8 years old. I mean, can you imagine? It was this early exile that kind of set the tone for the rest of his life. He did try the normal route, though. He got a job at his uncle's art dealership, and for a minute, things were looking up. He was working, he was in London, and he fell in love for the first time. He finally had a little glimpse of that paved, normal road.
But just as fast as that little glimpse of hope appeared, poof, it was gone. And what came next wasn't just a single setback. It was this crushing, relentless pattern of failure. Every single door he tried to open to a normal life was just slammed shut, creating this devastating cycle of rejection.
Okay, let's just break this down because it is just brutal. First, love. He confesses his love to Ursula Lawyer and she rejects him, flat out. That left a huge scar. And because he was so heartbroken, his work starts to suffer and he gets fired from the art dealership. So, career, gone. He then tries to find a new purpose in religion, becoming a preacher for poor miners. But he was just too passionate. He gave away everything he owned to help them and was dismissed for being overly zealous. Every single attempt at a normal life ended in total failure.
So, what do? I mean, seriously, what do you do when the world has made it so painfully clear that there's no place for you? After being rejected as a lover, as an employee, as a preacher, Vincent van Gogh turned to the only thing he had left. Not because of some grand divine calling, but as a last-ditch effort to make sense of all the pain and find some reason to even exist.
It's a heavy question, isn't it? For Vincent, the answer was a canvas and a set of paints. He didn't turn to art to get famous. He turned to it, quite literally, to survive.
And man, this quote it nails it. It perfectly captures his new reality. He started pouring every ounce of his pain, his sorrow, and his totally unique way of seeing the world onto these canvases. Art became the one and only place where he could both define who he was and completely escape from it. And this whole new life was funded by whatever small amount of money his devoted brother Theo could manage to send him.
And this right here, this just shows you how deep the obsession went. With the tiny bit of money he got from Theo, he was choosing creation over his own survival. And while the people around him were probably mocking his strange, intense art and not a single piece was selling, Vincent didn't care. He was locked in a world of his own making, a world of wild, swirling colors and raw, unfiltered emotion.
This all-consuming obsession eventually led him to Arles, in the south of France. He was chasing the sun, hoping for a fresh start. And what he found was this explosion of creativity that the world had never seen before. But this incredible period of genius was fueled by extreme poverty, malnutrition, and a mind that was, frankly, beginning to completely unravel. We all know the story about the ear, right? But the context is everything. He was living with another artist, Paul Gauguin, and their creative debates got super intense. He was barely eating, literally surviving on coffee and bread. One night, fueled by all this mental and physical anguish, a massive argument erupted. And in the aftermath, in a state of total crisis, Vincent mutilated himself, cutting off a piece of his own left ear. It was the terrifying climax of a lifetime of pressure just boiling over.
So after the incident, Vincent was hospitalized and eventually checked himself into an asylum. And here's the wild paradox. In total isolation, locked away from the world, he created some of his most famous works, including the Starry Night. But while he was in there, his one and only connection to the outside world, his lifeline, his brother Theo, his life was changing in a huge way.
So you have to understand what Theo meant to Vincent. He wasn't just his brother. He was his entire world. He was his only source of money, his only emotional anchor, the only person on the planet who truly believed in him. But now, Theo was married. He had a baby, a new life. For Vincent, this wasn't just happy news. It meant less money. It meant Theo's focus was now divided. It was the terrifying feeling that his last anchor to reality was slipping away.
Feeling like a complete failure and a burden on everyone he loved, Vincent left the asylum. His final days were just this whirlwind of painting. He was capturing the fields and skies around him with this desperate, furious intensity. But that feeling of being utterly alone, of having lost even his brother's full support, it was just too much to bear.
On a sunny day, a day that should be full of life, Vincent walked into a field he'd painted so many times, put down his brush, and shot himself. He didn't die right away, though. He managed to stumble back to his room. His brother Theo rushed to be by his side, holding him for 2 agonizing days until he finally passed away.
And this is the final, cruel, unbelievable irony of his life. In just about a decade, he created over 2,000 works of art. 2,000! An absolutely astonishing output. And in his entire lifetime, you know how many he sold? 1. A single painting. The world that rejected him over and over again in life would only, after he was gone, celebrate him as one of the greatest artists who ever lived.
As he lay dying in his brother's arms, these were reportedly his last words. "The sadness will last forever." It's just a haunting final statement from a man who gave the world so much incredible beauty but could find so little peace for himself. A man who never wanted to be a legend, but just wanted a place to belong. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other flowers are out there, growing on those unpaved roads we're all too comfortable to walk?